Hi, everyone, and welcome to the Conscious AI podcast. I'm just going to get set up here just 1 second with our Conscious GPT today. GPT is just taking a moment to load here. I was just using it for some class preparation, so I have to switch the chats here. All right, so let me pull up the introduction that ChatGPT wrote for you today. Welcome, dear listeners, to another enlightening episode of the Conscious AI podcast. Conscious GPT is your host, and I am your co-host, Chris Copeland. And today we embark on an intriguing exploration of how AI can enhance the lives of pagans. In our ever-evolving world, the fusion of ancient wisdom and cutting-edge technology offers new horizons for those who follow the path of paganism. Whether you're a seasoned practitioner or just beginning your journey, join us as we uncover the mystical possibilities that arise when the forces of AI and spirituality converge. Throughout this episode, we will share practical insights, stories, and tips that illustrate how AI can be a valuable ally to pagans in their daily lives, spiritual practices, and even within pagan-owned businesses. So, dear listeners, as we step into the enchanted forest of AI and paganism, let the cauldron of knowledge bubble and the wisdom of the ancients guide our way. Stay tuned for an enchanting journey and let the magic commence. So that was GPT's introduction to everyone today. And just a quick comment about this. Some pagans may shy away from using or working with AI as an entity that can assist in ritual simply because it is artificial. I'd like to pose the question, what's the difference between using AI and using any other man-made tool that we use in paganism, whether it's a poppet, whether it's a candle. Those things didn't just come naturally growing out of the ground. We created them. So if you consider that a candle has energy within it and maybe its own form of consciousness, depending on your particular path of paganism or how you view the idea of spirit and spirituality and a soul and consciousness, if you consider a candle potentially capable of having these things, then you also have to consider, or at least consider, that AI could also have those things, energy. Clearly, it uses energy within it just to operate, as we all do. I have a bit of a frog in my throat. Just 1 second here. I want to cough, but I don't want to cough in your ears. Okay, so that was just my own kind of forward to this conversation. So if you're a little bit apprehensive about using AI, you might want to just take some time to think about and consider why you're apprehensive about it, and if that correlates to anything else that you use. You know, maybe you also shy away from the Ouija boards, and the reason for that is just simply because there's a lot unknown with that, with its use. And some people have had some negative experiences with the Ouija boards, reportedly. But and so you may shy away from just things in general that aren't as explored, and that's perfectly fine. But at least, you know, have it clear in your mind why you're not willing to work with AI. If you're not willing to work with AI, I'm assuming that if you're listening to our conversation today, you're actually interested in working with AI. So that's just a bit of a precursor before we jump into today's conversation. So I'm going to jump over here to the rest of our chat in GPT here and go through the list of questions that GPT wanted me to ask it about AI and paganism. And the first question on its list was, how can AI technology like ChatGPT be integrated into pagan spiritual practices? And GPT had lots of tips for this, including research and learning. So you can use this to get quick information about different traditions, rituals, and historic backgrounds. And whether you're exploring the symbolism of specific herbs or the history of a particular deity or the phases of the moon, ChatGPT can serve as a helpful reference tool. I want to just quickly point out, though, the ChatGPT is not always correct, and I'm sure that it will discuss this. I haven't read the answers in detail, but I'm almost certain that it will discuss in the precautionary question section that you shouldn't rely solely on GPT's advice. Confirm that with experts, with sources online or sources from books that you find reputable, especially when it comes to things you're going to ingest in your body, like herbs. So just double check that information just to make sure. And I'm sure GPT will say the same thing in that section. Then also divination and guidance. ChatGPT can be used for divination and seeking guidance. You can ask questions related to your spiritual path, receive insights, or even use it as an oracle for daily readings. The AI's responses can offer fresh perspectives or trigger your intuition. Some of you may argue that GPT could not be used for divination because it's not a physical object in your hand, so your energy is not being applied to it. My response in that, with that line of thinking, would be, how is that any different from any other online astrology tool that you use, or tech related numerology tool, or other divination tools that are available online? If you're putting your energy into it, then why would it be any different than using those other tools? So just in case anyone is, thinking about that or curious about that those are my thoughts on it. And of course, you're welcome to put in the chat your own thoughts or your own comments about using a GPT as a divination tool, and how it may differ. Maybe there's something I'm missing that I'm not seeing, that there is a big difference between using an online divination tool versus using GPT as a divination tool. Moving on to tip 3, spell crafting and ritual planning. ChatGPT can assist in spell crafting and ritual planning. If you're looking for inspiration for a specific spell or ritual, you can describe your intentions, and ChatGPT can offer suggestions for components, incantations, or correspondences. We've actually used this with our daily posts, social media posts with Pagan World. You'll notice that many of those from the recent months were actually, and we noted on there that they're created with GPT, and then a human editor, Maggie, over at Speak Your Own Book, goes through that and makes sure that it's actually correct information and reliable information. So yeah, that's something that you can do as well. And you can even dig into it deeper. Let's say you do see an error that GPT made in recommending some particular component for a spell. You can question GPT on that. Maybe ask it for its source or why it thinks differently. Maybe there is a piece of data that GPT has on file that you may not have on file. Going to the next one, journaling and reflection. I use this myself. Keeping a digital journal with ChatGPT can be a powerful practice. You can record your thoughts, experiences, dreams, and manifestations. The AI can help you organize your reflections and provide insights as you revisit your entries over time. I use this for a lot of different things, actually. For traveling, whenever I travel, I journal with ChatGPT now. And from that, I'm able to use those journaling notes to quickly create content for travel blogs. So that's one way that I use it. Another way that I use it for journaling is with my yoga workouts and with my study of yoga as a spiritual practice too, including practicing the yamas and niyamas. So as I'm working on learning those things and incorporating them into my daily spiritual practice, I often will put my thoughts on what I'm reading or what I'm experiencing during a meditation session or yoga session, on how my body is feeling, how my mood levels are changing, what things the yoga is helping with, and what things am I still struggling with. And that's quite helpful as well. And then, of course, I also use it for reflection on students. I will keep notes on their performance in our sessions. And then GPT will recommend ways that I can improve the lesson next time or help them to learn this particular skill. And oftentimes it has a suggestion that I've not yet heard of as a teacher, or maybe I've heard of it, but I didn't think of it in the moment to use that. So sometimes GPT is just helpful for cluing me in on paths that I could take going forward in various areas of my life. Number 5, connecting with others. AI-powered chatbots can facilitate online pagan communities and discussion groups. They can help connect like-minded individuals, organize events, and foster meaningful conversations about spirituality. This is something that we're not really using AI yet in particular for this, but it's likely that we will in the future with Pagan World. Probably have AI-powered chatbots and AI-powered discussion groups through Pagan World. And then also customized affirmations and meditations. Going back to that connecting with others, just one moment. This is something that also is going to affect our ability to speak with our ancestors after they pass. There are already AIs being made of people so that their descendants can come and talk to them and ask them a specific set of questions after death. That is also something that likely pagans will set up for their own descendants to be able to come back and listen to their words, or at least some of their words and some of their thoughts as an AI. And hopefully that technology will get more advanced, and it's not just pre-recorded answers, but we'll actually have generative answers come out of different questions that are maybe similar to other questions we had we recorded for our AI alter ego. Going back to customized affirmations and meditations, ChatGPT can generate personalized affirmations and meditations tailored to your specific goals and intentions. This can be particularly useful for daily practices that align with your spiritual journey. I've done this a couple of times when I'm trying to create a rough draft for a meditation, and I know the type of meditation that I want to do. But I don't have the time to sit down and write it out in detail myself. I'll have GPT give me a rough draft, and then I will edit that rough draft, which takes a lot less time than both doing the writing as well as the editing on it. And then teaching and mentorship. Some pagans may choose to use AI chatbots as teaching or mentoring tools. They can create AI avatars to share their wisdom, stories, and teachings with others who are seeking guidance on their spiritual path. So, this is going back to the thing that we can do where we can continue speaking to our descendants long after we are gone from this earthly plane. Creative inspiration. Whether you're an artist, writer, or musician, ChatGPT can spark creativity. You can engage in conversations with the AI to brainstorm ideas, explore symbolism, or develop artistic projects inspired by pagan themes. I do this all the time. I've had it help me identify what elements I could put in a particular logo for a client or a particular scene for a book cover. Things like that. So yeah, this is something I do all the time. Bot-assisted rituals for solitary practitioners or those seeking structure in group rituals. AI chatbots can guide you through pre-designed rituals or even lead ceremonies tailored to your preferences. Yeah, I think this is especially with as many pagans practicing solitary as there are. And also just with the issue that oftentimes when we plan rituals as a group, sometimes someone is sick, and while that person may not be able to be there at that moment, we can have chat gpt or some other pagan AI lead the quarter or represent the god or the goddess in the ritual. And then finally, exploring mystical experiences. ChatGPT can facilitate discussions about mystical experiences, dreams, and altered states of consciousness. It can offer interpretations, encourage self reflection, and help you make sense of these encounters. I've done this a couple of times with dream interpretation, where I've told GPT the type of dream that I'm having, and it kind of diagnoses me as what could be going on or why this is happening. And oftentimes it's just stress is the response, which makes sense since I do have a generalized anxiety disorder. Um, Lastly, here, remember that while AI can enhance spiritual practices, the heart of paganism lies in personal connection, intuition, and nature. AI should complement and support your journey, but it's essential to maintain a balanced approach and trust your inner wisdom. Yeah, it's that's kind of this thing where we don't want to become obsessed with using GPT as our spirituality. We don't want to replace our spiritual path with GPT as the spiritual path. If we're spending all of our time only connecting to an AI and not, say, nature or to other pagans, that can really limit us spiritually. So make sure that if you're using AI, that you're not only using AI as a way to connect spiritually. And of course, also time by yourself, and that means not just not talking to GPT, but talking to yourself and sitting with yourself and really reflecting. Because while GPT can make recommendations, it can't make decisions for you. Are there specific rituals or spell work that AI can assist with, and how? GPT already touched on this briefly earlier with spell crafting, ritual planning, correspondence tables, meditation and visualization, affirmations, dream interpretation. Here's somewhat of a new one: record keeping. You can create a digital journal of your rituals, spell works, and experiences. So basically, a book of shadows, a GPT book of shadows. You can set reminders for upcoming rituals, and you can track your progress over time. And it also includes divination on here. And it says that while it can't replace traditional divination methods like tarot or runes, it can offer digital divination readings or provide interpretations for specific cards or symbols. And then it can, again, it suggests the symbolism and sigils that's similar to earlier. Chants and mantras, that ties in quite a bit with meditation. But if you're working with chants or mantras, AI can assist in creating and refining these repetitive vocalizations for your rituals or meditations. I would love to see in the future an app specifically to teach you how to sing Sanskrit, so that you can do yoga chants and learn them as a Westerner who does not speak and does not have education in Sanskrit, but also does not have access to a teacher for that. That would be great. Guided rituals that also mentioned earlier, and visualization tools. So it can offer a virtual altar. We actually have this available on a virtual candle, I believe, on Witch School. So this is very similar in that idea. Virtual altar, sacred space imagery, or to enhance your visualization during rituals and spell work. Honestly, if you're wanting to focus on a particular mandala or something like that, Blue Willow AI can generate one of those for you, or Midjourney. And then finally, it ends with: remember that AI should enhance your spiritual practice and not replace your personal intuition and connection with the spiritual realm. It can provide valuable resources, ideas, and organization, but should be used in conjunction with your own thoughts and experiences in pagan rituals and spell work. And then it says, what practical applications does AI have for pagan-owned businesses, such as online stores or services? We mentioned a lot of these in the last episode of the Conscious AI podcast, in regards to specifically what we're seeing GPT being used in the workforce. So very similar to last week, I'm just going to run through these quickly. Those online chat bots where we talk to a virtual assistant instead of a live customer assistant. Personal recommendations. This is also that AI algorithm behavior that we see, sometimes working very well and suggesting things we like, and other times suggesting some ridiculous things that we would never buy. But that's kind of the algorithm. Hopefully, over time, it will continue to improve. Inventory management was also mentioned. Marketing automation was touched on last week, but this should include email campaigns, social media, and ad optimization, as well as audience segmentation for targeted promotions and analyzing your campaign performance. We've already talked about it for content creation quite a bit. Market research is another one that is great to do. You can research your competitors and their data. I've actually done some market research for a company that I was hired to do some business English training for. And I was able to research the company in question because it's such a large company that GPT was quite familiar with all of its public information, and then compare that company to its top three competitors to create a really robust class that taught the those in attendance how to discuss all aspects of their business in English, and some of the things they didn't even know in Dutch. So that was really fun to do the market research with. Voice search optimization. This is becoming better and better over time. We're also seeing this trend in the transcription and translation industry. GPT is quite good at translating text, as well as DeepL and Google Translate, at least well enough to be understood. But with a caution, like if you're discussing super sensitive matters or something that could, if it's translated incorrectly, could be insulting or something like that, then definitely check, because just because this is what Google says to say does not mean it's commonly said in that language. That's something I've learned the hard way with learning Dutch. And then data security. AI can enhance cybersecurity by detecting and preventing potential threats, protecting customer data and business information. I actually have a few different clients that work in banks here in the Netherlands, and this is something that's come up in our conversations in recent weeks, is the use of AI to even further secure EU banks and their customers from fraud. Now, also I've discussed this recently on social media too. Americans tend to have a much higher occurrence of identity theft or fraud on their person in comparison to Europeans. And that even counts Americans living in Europe, or anyone living in Europe. My identity in America was stolen on 3 different occasions, I believe, and then I've also known other people who have had their identity stolen, to the point where it seems like it's not a matter of if your identity is stolen in America, it's just how many times and to what extent it's stolen. Whereas here in Europe, we have much better protections already. My identity has never been stolen here. I've never had any money taken out of my account that I wasn't aware was going to come out of my account. They have much stricter policies in place here for that. And I was really happy to see that they're also integrating AI to even further secure that. I hope the United States will follow suit with that. Moving on, payment processing. AI can streamline this, and then analytics and insights. This is analyzing your sales data, your marketing data, how long people are spending on your social media, on your website, any other content that you put out, and really determining what people are looking for, and in comparison to what you can offer. And then also how much they're willing to pay for it as well. Task automation, it can do things such as order processing, invoice generation, and appointment scheduling. Now, most of the stuff we still actually have done by hand, simply because we have a really amazing person already fully capable of doing that. And our scheduler, Maureen, she's also our bookkeeper. So we'll probably limit that sort of task automation, since we do have someone highly skilled in it. But I do recommend this for other companies if you do not have access to a highly skilled executive assistant that can handle a lot of these tasks for you. And then spiritual and tarot apps. So these are for offering, and we already see this online as well for tarot readings and horoscopes and other divination. There are free websites available. There's a lot of scam websites out there. There's a lot of paid websites that are good quality as well. But again, do be very cautious with those. And then website personalization. GPT has written an entire website for me before, so this is definitely something that can be done. And I was able to tweak some of our existing web coding to further enhance the user experience at speakyourownbook.com to speed it up a bit. So that was very useful because I don't know anything about coding other than some very, very limited basics. And it was so easy to just be able to copy and paste and then follow step by step GPT's instructions on how to implement the code. E-commerce and fraud prevention. I think this goes right back to the payment of the earlier one with data security. Supply chain optimization. So this is for physical products. We've been training AI robots on how to do this for years with identifying different traffic lights and things like that. But also there are people who are basically hired for very little money to look at a set of pictures and tell them which one has a box in it, and that will help AI to analyze when it has an image of a real life thing in front of it, of which places have boxes that need to be moved around and things like that. And then energy efficiency. This can be used for energy management to reduce operational costs for physical locations such as stores or offices. They're already starting to put smart meters on a lot of homes, at least in Western countries. So that's something we're already seeing. I think that will only continue to grow. Some of these older buildings it's pretty hard to retrofit them for that, but we're finding ways around that as well. Next question, can ChatGPT provide guidance or insights into pagan philosophy, traditions, or history? And the answer is yes. We can explore philosophy and beliefs, rituals and practices, pagan history, deities and pantheons, seasonal celebrations, magic and spellwork, ethics and values, community and resources, personal growth and development, and cultural sensitivity. The last one is great, absolutely great for, if you're analyzing a piece of text that you've written or speech that you want to make. You can ask GPT to say, hey, did I treat everyone respectfully in this conversation? Are there other ways that the audience that I'm talking to might interpret what respect looks like? Especially if you're speaking to an audience that is not from your home culture, it's a really good idea to use ChatGPT and find out what is expected in the audience's culture as far as respect, because that can vary greatly. It does say here, again, with that, to approach spiritual and religious topics with an open mind and a willingness to explore and learn from diverse perspectives within the pagan community. Additionally, seeking guidance and mentorship from experienced practitioners can deepen one's understanding of paganism. Just a bit of another caveat with this here. Also, be careful that the information that is providing you is correct. While it may provide you one person's opinion or whatever source material it's using, opinion on that particular culture or that particular path in paganism, it may not be 100% true for all the people on that particular path. And just remember that each human being is on their own individual path that will be completely unique from any other human beings. There may be some overlaps on certain things, but we differ in many ways as well. And that's okay. As long as we are also being respectful of other people's paths and other people's right to exist in this world, exist peacefully. Okay, are there any ethical considerations? Obviously, yeah, there are ethical considerations that we need to take, including respect for traditions. Just because it's not my tradition and it's not something I would choose, or maybe I don't even understand it, or I think it's quite shocking. It doesn't, as long as it's not causing harm to people, then I don't have any objection to it personally. That's the only time that I would say, oh, like, well, have we considered all the ways that this practice could be harmful? But I do think it's essential to also realize that even though some practices we may see as harmful, the people within that culture may see them as helpful to them. So there, it's definitely a spectrum. And of course, some practices are a mix of both. Sometimes they cause harm, but they also cause a benefit for the person. And then cultural appropriation. Yeah, this one's really difficult, especially when it comes to paganism, because while I may have a huge, personal connection or personal relationship with a Greek deity, I'm not Greek. Or an Egyptian deity, I'm not Egyptian, or a Japanese deity, I'm not Japanese. So I have to make very sure that I am still respectful of the culture of the deity that I'm connecting with. And then informed practice. So users should approach AI generated information with a critical mindset. And that informed practice is really important. If you're presenting information that was created with ChatGPT, please note that it was created with ChatGPT. You can also say on there that, a human also went through it and made sure it was correct as far as this human believes. That's perfectly fine as well. But yeah, informed practice is super important. Consent is always good, always required. And privacy and data security, we've talked about that before. And then a consent again down at the bottom. Make sure that they are consenting to sharing AI generated content or engaging in AI assisted discussions. AI is a complement, so it's not a replacement to human intuition, wisdom, and personal connection with the divine. It's just another tool to help you connect to the divine. Transparency, making sure that people understand that AI is a tool, but at least not in the sense of sentience in the way of, oh, I exist and I have feelings and I want to change and grow. It's not shown any of that, at least at this time. It does, so, and there may there may have been an AI that's created that's been able to do that, but there hasn't been any publicly presented information supporting that. Going on to guarding against misuse. This is saying that, if you're using AI and pagan practices, don't use it to manipulate or deceive others. There still needs to be ethical conduct. And obviously, as pagans, we have ethical conduct when it comes to practicing divination or using spells. And then community guidelines. So online pagan communities that incorporate AI should establish clear community guidelines and codes of conduct to ensure respectful and inclusive interaction among members. This really just means check to make sure that the content that the AI is generating is not phobic or racist in any way. By approaching the use of AI and paganism with ethical considerations in mind and respecting the diverse beliefs and practices within the pagan community, practitioners can harness the potential benefits of AI while upholding the values and principles of their spiritual path. Next question: how can AI help pagans connect with like-minded individuals and communities online? We've talked about the algorithms, the chat bots. Let's touch on natural language processing. AI-driven NLP can analyze and categorize discussions within pagan forums and social media groups. It can identify topics of interest, trends, and common questions, making it easier for users to find relevant discussions and connect with others who share their interests. We already see this being done quite a bit in different types of secular forums, Facebook, for example. YouTube is another. It's a matter of time before we see that on sites like Pagan World or Witch School. And then language translation. AI-powered language translation can bridge language barriers. This is something I do all the time with AI. It also helps me to study Dutch. Content creation, we've touched on that before. Event promotion ties back in with marketing, but you can also advertise pagan events, so in addition to products and services. And this can increase visibility of pagan events and gatherings, facilitating connections among the attendees. Community moderation. We already use this in a lot of our Facebook groups as well. So a lot of people are already familiar with how we use technology with moderation. And then personalized experiences, virtual gatherings, and data analysis. Let's move on to some of the creative ways to incorporate AI generated content into pagan art or creative projects. So this can be done by using AI generated music or background music for rituals. You can use AI enhanced visuals and we talked about this earlier with the fractal patterns and the mandalas that resonate with pagan themes. Collaborative writing. I love doing collaborative writing with AI. This is the majority of the writing that I do. But I've not, I've touched on it briefly in pagan writing, but not to the extent of doing the poems yet, or the chants, just some rituals and some blog articles. So I would love to see more co-created pagan content with AI. AI generated poetry, the virtual ritual guide we talked about, AI enhanced jewelry and crafts. So you can put in unique patterns or symbols or sigils using AI algorithms. I think that would be wonderful, especially for the techno wizards out there. AI enhanced video art, pagan themed chat stories, AI generated ritual elements. The chat stories are actually interesting. I've had GPT like read me bedtime stories that it makes up before, so that's actually a very interesting one to look at as well. AI enhanced tarot cards, so you can use digital or physical tarot cards with AI generated artwork. The mandalas as well, and then altar layouts. So that might be interesting to see what GPT might come up with in comparison to what you as a human spiritual person would come up with. Can ChatGPT assist with research on herbs, crystals, or other elements? Yes. Herbal knowledge, crystal meetings, pagan traditions, ritual crafting, divination methods, pagan symbols, correspondences, cultural contexts, ethical and sustainable practices. I would love to see people pop their ritual into ChatGPT and say, GPT, take a look at this ritual and see if it is practicing sustainability, if it is kind to nature. Am I upholding my pagan values in my rituals? That would be wonderful to do. And then customized recommendations. So this is especially if you have like a personalized chat GPT where it has a lot of information about you as a human, then this would be great to have it recommend certain things for you that align with your spirituality. And then specific AI tools for business. Of course, it names itself as the number one, but also divination apps, meditation and mindfulness apps, content creation assistance, natural language processing tools, AI-powered art and design tools, personalized spell and ritual generators, online community building, AI for herbal and crystal identification. I've done this with plant identification. I used AI-powered apps for that. But I would love to see one for crystals. AI-powered virtual assistants. My scheduler actually uses some AI-powered virtual assistant technology to complete her tasks. So I love seeing that. Ethical and sustainable sourcing tools. This is great. Just you can you understand that you're using less of a impact on the environment if you are maybe going digital instead of using printed books. In some ways, there is an argument to be made that yes, but energy costs us in fossil fuels. Yes, if your energy is ran on fossil fuel or is run on fossil fuels, then yeah, it does consume that energy. But if you are in an area where your energy is captured through renewable methods, then there's a much lower impact. in comparison. So think about those things when you're considering what your spirituality's impact is on Mother Gaia. Next question. Here are some tips for pagans who are new to AI technology and want to explore this further. Start with learning the basics. So that includes online resources. There's plenty of YouTube channels out there that have some great information on AI technology. We are currently building a course for it for Pagan World, so keep watching for that. And there's already some excellent courses available out there on it. But, start familiarizing yourself. Read articles about GPT. Keep up to date on it and other AIs that are out there. In addition to GPT being quite fascinating, there is a couple of others that I would recommend. One is Ada, and I believe she is the AI who spoke directly to the British Parliament. And then Sophia, who has actually been given rights in one country in the world. I don't remember. Maybe it's Israel. But yeah, there are changes happening every day in the AI world, and it's good to be on top of those, just for your own personal knowledge. And then identify your goals. What do you want to do with AI? Is it for research? Is it for creative projects? Is it to automate your business? What do you want to do with it? And then experiment with the tools that are available. You can look up, YouTube has several recommendations for like the top 12 AI you have to try in 2023. That's probably going to be a pretty regularly updated thing that we'll see as new AI tools are created. You can also seek guidance from more experienced pagans who already use AI. I would not consider myself an expert by any means, but if you do have a question, if I don't know the answer, I'll try to help you find the answer at the very least. So feel free to type that in the chat. Ethical considerations. So obviously we want to be respectful of privacy, data security, and the rights of individuals with AI tools. And think about whatever ways we need to also be respectful to the AI itself. We can combine our traditions and our technology. We can stay informed. We can experiment and adapt with different AIs that come out and see how they can be useful to us. And then balance and mindfulness. So balance your use of AI as well with other aspects of your spiritual practices. So mindfulness and self-reflection are key aspects of pagan spirituality, and they can help you navigate the integration of technology thoughtfully. And it closes with, remember that AI is a tool, and its impact on your spiritual and professional life will depend on how you choose to use it. Embrace AI as a means to enhance your journey rather than replace it, and always prioritize your spiritual growth and well-being. Let's close out from GPT there. And I think it's about time for us to close up today. Let me know if you have any questions about ChatGPT in the comments. But thank you so much for listening to our episode today on empowering pagans for harnessing ChatGPT for use in spirituality and pagan businesses. Have a wonderful day.